Hello. We had a busy week because we watched episodes 5 through 8 of The Hills this week, and we're back to recap for you. We are the Double Loser podcast. I'm Morg, and this is Jo.
Hello, everyone.
And as we said at the end of last week's episode, we are starting to recap more than 2 episodes each week just because there are 28 episodes in season 3, y'all, and we have other reality TV shows we want to rewatch with you. So we are going to recap more, but we're going to keep the highlights as we have in all episodes very visible to you.
But Morg, this makes me wonder, is there that much more drama in these episodes? Because if you remember the first season, we were kind of complaining about or what we were impressed by is what I should say, is how the producers were able to create so much content out of such little material.
Well, I feel like that's still been consistent, but I know Jo did some research these episodes, and we have some evidence that they also start scripting a lot of the show. Probably around season 3 when I think this is when it started getting pretty big. So they made a lot more episodes, as we see. And I think they started adding a lot of content that isn't real.
Yeah, I'm wondering if people have already seen The Hills who are listening to this are like rolling their eyes like, duh. It was scripted all along, ladies.
We're so naive. Oh my God, do you think this is real?
Yeah, but I don't know. I've never really fully trusted it. But at the same time, it's like some of the stuff seems so hard to believe.
Yeah.
That it would be scripted. So I don't know. But
well, and they were just getting their footing on like reality TV. Like all these shows hadn't really taken off yet. Like the Real Housewives and stuff that kind of follow the formula set up by this hadn't started.
Yeah, that's true. But do you think that, sorry, now I feel like I'm on this. Do you think that The Housewives is as scripted as The Hills?
Yes, at least parts of it.
Interesting. Okay, I would like to hear
you know those things. Yeah, well, I feel like some of the things that happen where they're like, I got a text message from Erica and it said this. It's like those are the parts I think they like make them redo, on Real Housewives.
Oh, gotcha. It's like they act that out. So I mean, it's not so much scripted in the sense of they're writing the storyline. It's more scripted in the sense that if they miss something, they go back and have them reenact what happened. But okay, so maybe the producers, because I will say this about Housewives, it feels like the ladies who are in the show are scripting their own lives. Like I don't know if you followed Jersey at all, and I don't know if it was this last season. It was probably 2 seasons ago, but I think Jackie accused Melissa of pretending she wanted to have another baby so she would be relevant on the show and like have a storyline. So I feel like that goes on a lot.
Oh, wow. Like, yeah, they're writing their own stories to stay on the show.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of a good formula where it's like instead of the producers writing their own story, it's like you have to go into the show and be like, okay, what's going to be my story this season?
Well, tell me that's not what Speidi did this entire show.
They might be the OGs of scripting themselves to stay relevant.
Oh, yeah, for real. Like, and they like, as much as they are not the greatest people, I'm like, find your niche, man. Like, find what you're good at. And it is reality TV.
Yeah. So, I mean, really kudos to them because as much as we don't like them, they found what they're really, really good at.
Yeah.
They have a special talent for being reality TV villains and apparently not giving a crap about what people think about them or having any kind of like integrity or anything.
Yeah, because I bet in their mind they're like, it's all fake. Like, that's how they like justify being terrible on TV. No one knows the real them, Jo. They even say it on the show.
Yeah. Interesting.
But we'll stop theorizing about this. We just have noticed the fakeness is real. That's my recap of these episodes. We're going to take y'all through. Elsie's dating life has started to heat up. We got BRODY coming back out of the woodworks, which I hate. And he is getting in trouble with Spencer because he's talking, or should I say, I'll use Spencer's exact words, rolling with the enemy. So BRODY and Spencer are having a falling out because BRODY is talking to Elsie. She also goes on a date with her trainer's friend, a double date, I guess, was it Audrina? Audrina goes on that date.
Yeah, it's Audrina.
So Audrina, her trainer, who I can't remember his name, and a man named Derek. So we get to see a date there. And then Jason comes back out of the woodworks. Elsie is busy on episodes 5 through 8, y'all, in season 3.
Oh,
And
Jason.
yeah.
What a surprise.
What a surprise. He was throwing surprises left and right.
He really was.
We see also, do you remember the band Red Jumpsuit Apparatus?
Oh, Morg, do I? What a throwback when they got mentioned and showed up. But when they showed up, I was like, I had no idea what they actually looked like. They're like a 7-person band.
Yes. So we get to see a night out with Elsie's dating life with them. So that's one of the major topics we will talk through. Audrina also back with Justin Bobby, of course.
Shaking my head.
We get lots of Audrina time and him, and I can't say I loved it. So we will talk a little bit more about that soon. Jason, of course, we'll deep dive in on because he has a couple surprises for us that can't go unnoticed, and a brush with Speidi. And Heidi, of course, has her big job promotion, and Speidi's wedding is just in question still for me. So lots of main topics throughout these episodes that we now need to deep dive into. But I think we got to start at the top with Elsie's dating life.
Yeah. Well, so Morg, you'd mentioned that Brody's back, and Brody is definitely back, but that is something else I read that was pretty fake. It was like the producers really pushed for them to date, but it was like they never really had like a spark. And it is weird. It's
and
like,
how could you?
Yeah, because he sucks. He's the worst.
How could you have a spark with him? He's whining about his broken finger.
Oh my gosh, I'd already forgotten, with his little sunglasses and his like affliction t-shirts.
Yeah, and it doesn't get better. Like, he's back and he's so cocky and says things like, come back to my condo. Like, he just already thinks like he's got Elsie in the bag.
But he kind of does. I mean, which again, I don't know how believable it is, but she does seem very like,
yeah, like into it. But like you said, Joe, the show really wanted them to date. So is she just playing it up?
You're right. I'm questioning everything.
Yeah, this is our week of skeptics. We don't trust a single thing we've seen.
No.
But yeah, Brody's back, but this is getting him really in trouble with Spencer. Like, Spencer is pissed.
Oh, yeah. Spencer is not having it, which is very, like, what is this person, Morg? It's like he's where you like isolate. I don't know. He like wants to isolate everyone from Lauren Conrad, and he's like ousting Brody because he's hanging out with Lauren Conrad. Like, isn't that like a personality type, or is that like a sociopath?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what it's classified as, but isn't that like an example of someone who has like abusive tendencies? Because it's literally like, you will only be friends with me and the people I approve.
Yeah, I mean, definitely red flag. Spencer's a creepy dude, and I can't believe Brody puts up with this because he's just like, hey, bro, you haven't answered 8 of my phone calls. He's like, yeah, Brody, clearly he doesn't want to talk to you. Quit calling and move on. He sucks.
Yeah, Brody has fallen victim to the abuse. Why are you calling him 8 times?
Yeah. Yeah, everyone's buying into. Thank goodness Lauren doesn't, but everyone else really buys into the Spencer is great theory.
Yes, and you know who else surprisingly gets in on the drama? Brent.
Oh, Morg. When Brent got in on it, I was shocked because one, we've hardly seen Brent, so to see Brent immediately be like, "Oh, how's Lauren and Spencer?" I don't even remember what it was.
Yeah, it was so confusing. I was like, first of all, Brent, this is episode 5 of the season. We haven't seen you once. And your first question is like, what's going on there with Spencer and Lauren Conrad? And Heidi's like, oh, okay, to my boss who shouldn't know about any of this. Yeah, now he's dating. Now Spencer's really good friend Brody is dating Elsie again, or talking to her again. I was like, wait, Brent, shut this down. Can we be a professional here? No, because Brent never is.
Right? I mean, to me, as the HR department watching this, like, no, come on, Brent. Like, you can't be doing this.
Brent, we already changed your outfits like 8 times. We're trying to reinvent you.
Yeah, but that really caught me off guard because it definitely seems like if any of my bosses ever showed any interest in my personal life, I think I'd be really creeped out.
Yeah, like, what's going on there?
So, spill.
But yeah, I would never tell them anything for them to even start asking.
No.
But Brody, I feel like that one is the show. So as far as Elsie's love life goes, I think they're like forcing that, and that's why it just keeps continuing, because no way is Elsie down with Brody after the Jen Bunny drama and all of this. It's just forced on her. That's what I've decided.
Yeah. Well, and that is it kind of how it feels more, because it's like Brody really comes and goes and nothing ever really happens. It's like they flirt a little and then nothing happens. I forget Brody exists. And then 2 days later, he's back in my life, smacking his gum, doing whatever obnoxious thing he's doing.
Dancing, doing little dances.
Stupid, weird dad dances. Come back to my condo.
Like showing how confident he is with his terrible one-liners.
Ugh, would kill for that confidence, though.
Right. Well, I mean, and that's the thing. He doesn't, even though he has called Spencer 8 times, he doesn't really seem to care, though. So I don't know what's really going on there. He's like, listen, what is it Spencer says? He's like, a friend who's friends with my enemy is also my enemy, you know? And I was just like, whoa, this is some mind drama. I mean, some mind games.
Just deep stuff, Morg. But you're right. It is the whole time Brody's which I mean, it sounds like a very bro type friendship, because I think between girls it wouldn't go that chill, because Brody is very chill about the whole thing where he's like, all right, whatever, dude, like whatever, you know? I mean, it's very chill.
Yeah, and I think he's faking because he called him 8 times. He's not that chill. All these LA boys want to be chill, but they're not.
Oh, that is really what we've learned about LA boys from Brody and Spencer.
Yeah. But not to worry, Elsie has lots of options. She's dating all over the place these episodes, because we also see her go do a little workout with Audrina, and their trainer invites them out for a double date with some dude named Derek.
Oh, I was so proud of the trainer, Jared or whatever. Like he just was like so casual and cool about it. He's like, hey, how about this weekend we go out for drinks, the 4 of us, my buddy's in town or whatever. I was like, yeah, trainer Jared, you go. And
yeah, that's true.
And I thought Jared was attractive, but then when we went to the date, it went down the tubes pretty quickly.
Yeah, no, so it was kind of like the double date was Audrina, Jared, the trainer, paired up, and then friend of the trainer, Derek, and Elsie paired up. And the friend is a weirdo.
Okay, Morg, at first, though, I was loving him. Like, he was kind of weird, but in like kind of a fun way. But then, in my opinion, he took it too far. So I forget, what does Lauren say? She definitely hates on his t-shirt, and he's like, my shirt was 40 cents. And then he goes on and on and on and on about how t-shirts are overpriced at vintage stores, and you can buy them from thrift stores and they're the same shirts. I didn't even disagree with him as a thing. I mean, it's just like he didn't know when to stop.
He's
and you
pretentious.
could see it on her face. He was pretentious and he was boring, Morg, and it like too detail oriented in my opinion. It was like, I don't care.
Well, and I mean, I don't know, to clarify, I didn't really think she was hating on his t-shirt. She was just literally making conversation. She's like, did you go to Michigan? Because he's wearing a Michigan shirt.
Oh, okay. See, I couldn't remember, because towards the end of the night, I felt like she was secretly hating
on
him.
Well, so yeah, she really didn't like him after talking for forever.
Oh, no. It was like after that, when he was like, I really like you. She has great facial expressions. Like, she really shows everything on her face.
Yeah.
So like, you just see her face is just like, oh my God. And then I loved it when Audrina's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. You want to go? And she's like, I want to stab my eye out. That is a really bad date.
Yeah, she was not enjoying it. But the guy was just super pretentious and he honestly got creepy and overbearing, like being like, you're the best girl I've ever met or whatever it was. You're different than other girls. I was like, whoa, this guy's coming on really strong.
Yeah, it's a lot to drop on someone you just met.
And he joked about being a murderer.
I do not remember this. What did he say?
I just wrote it down because he thought he was being funny. It was all along the lines of the freaking t-shirt combo.
It's like, I'm gonna cut your skin off and wear it.
Here's a little lotion. I got you as a gift.
I'm going to strangle you with your hair and then keep your hair and smell it.
Oh, no, it wasn't that scary. That's scarier. It was definitely along the lines of being like, I don't know. He was trying to make a joke, but
was it about not being a murderer or something where he's like, oh, I'm not a murderer, though? Wasn't it something like that?
Yes, but I was like, don't joke about murder on your first date.
Here's a pro tip. Let's not go there.
So I wanted to ask you, Jo, have you ever been forced into like the most boring convo and like, you know, then realized like, how did we get to this place? You know, like where you're like, whoa, we just went from 40-cent t-shirts to murder.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't know if I would say it was like the most boring convo, but I think it became the most boring convo because I actually ran into someone that we went to high school with at a bar. And this person was like, went out of their way to show me how or tell me how successful they were and like what they were doing.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And so it was really just turned into one of those conversations where it was like, I don't even think I said anything. Like, I really think it was like, I could have, I'm sure I did stop listening. It was so, this dude just rambled on and on about how great he was doing and like didn't ask me a single question about myself. And I do. Yeah, well, Morgan, and I think you were at the bar with me, and I don't know how it, like, I managed to get, like, isolated with this person, and I, like, couldn't get away, and I, like, couldn't even find anyone to help me.
Oh, my God.
There was no one to lock eyes with to be like help me.
This guy is very successful, almost creepily so.
Yeah, but, I mean, even that, Morg, is, like, when someone's, like, shoving in your face, like, how successful they are, it really made me even question how successful this kid was.
No,
and
it
like,
totally does.
Why did he need to tell me all about it? You know, like, I mean, everything about it, I just was super annoyed. And I mean, I felt like, though, not to toot my own horn, Morg, like, I felt like I could have been really rude about it. And I just was like, I guess I was in a nice mood because I just stood there and like let him talk at me.
And he needed that night, probably.
He did. I guess maybe he needed it and maybe felt really good about it. So whatever. What
you
about
like
you?
Tune him out and then you like tune back in and you're like, and he's like, anyway, so if you give me $50,000 within 6 months, it'll be over $1 million. And you're like, whoa, I did not know we got here.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't even remember, but yeah, no, it was definitely probably could have been something like that. And I was probably just like nodding my head and going, huh, really? Because you know, that's the secret, right? When you don't really care and you're not listening, it's kind of be like, interesting, really. Yeah, I really rely on my reallys. Morg, what about you?
I don't feel like I had like a really great example. I just felt like, you know, the circumstance called for me asking, like, you know, I just thought we were talking about t-shirts and now somehow we've gotten to murder. Oh, you know what? Actually, I do have a good one. So, whenever, of course, within quarantine and COVID, one of the people I worked with, they were telling me about, you know, their stance on COVID, which is always really, you know, not a charged conversation at all, you know. And I was just kind of tuning him out because I was trying to like actually give an update about work. Mm-hmm. And so I was like prepping my, you know, it's like I'm, you know, setting up to share my screen and prep the conversation. So I'm not really listening to them like talk about like their stance on COVID. And then as I tune back in, he's like, anyways, I think it's the sign of the beast. And I was like, I don't know when I agreed to like how far this conversation has gone in a direction I had no idea it was going. And so I just was like, oh, really? And so, yeah, like you said, Jo, it's always an oh, really moment.
And so how do you end that, though? You just like, oh, really? Huh? Okay, well, so now.
Well, I wasn't gonna agree, so I just literally was like, "Do you mind if I start sharing my screen?" I don't know. I'm here to do work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, that's really weird. And honestly, Morg, this it kind of made me think of, I think I've been the person who has been on like the end of.
Probably me too.
Yeah, well, I just thought of when you started telling that story, I thought of one time, like I was in this club or whatever, and when we had to recruit people, we all had to go out and like, interact with strangers and kind of talk with them and like naturally I don't know, like have conversations about their lives and whatever. And I am one of those people that I kind of panic easily, and when I panic, I can ramble. And I also don't love like just having, conversations with strangers. Like that's kind of
Yeah.
a strain for me. Like I don't feel like it comes that natural to me. And I was talking with this girl, and for some reason, like whatever she did during the summer came up, and she starts talking about like going to SeaWorld. And Morg, I was very passionate. This was right after The Cove came out, which was about like the dolphin slaughter. And
Oh,
I
shoot.
basically took her on a path about dolphin slaughter in Japan.
You're like, I got a journey for you right now. We're gonna go on it together.
Yeah. But in my defense, I like immediately realized it, I mean, like I didn't stop it, but like after the fact, I remember talking with some friends and being like, that poor girl, like she just had to get an earful from me about how horrible her trip to SeaWorld was.
Yeah, she's probably like off with her friends somewhere being like, all I did was mention SeaWorld, and this girl like told me so much about how bad it was that dolphins are
Right?
slaughtered in Japan.
Right. And it might not have even been about SeaWorld. Like maybe she just took a trip to a beach. Like I really couldn't even tell you how we got there, but I mean, I took her there. Have a lot of
Oh, man.
regret.
Hey, we've all been there. I feel like, yeah, there's always those moments when you're the other person on the end of these things that we're discussing. But we don't like to think about those too deeply.
You're right. You're right. I don't like reflecting on my mistakes.
Hate it. Never grow. Never change.
Exactly.
But finally, we also get to see Lauren go out with a red jumpsuit apparatus band because they are there for Teen Vogue photo shoot. And Whitney, of course, we've noted, is now her boss. So she is just guiding this adventure, but not well, I have to say.
Yeah, Morg, and I would just like to give you some props really quick, because I think you had previously mentioned that you thought Whitney's job was that she would just be a glorified intern, and I think you nailed it. I mean, when we first see Whitney in this episode, her and Lauren are like doing the same old stuff that they've been
Always
up to.
doing.
Yeah, and even now it's like Whitney doesn't seem to really know what she's doing, and she's kind of momming the group, in my opinion, when they go out. Like she's not,
She's not fun. Not a good hang.
No, but she like wanted to do it, but she's like, guys, you're not going to be late tomorrow, are you?
Yeah, and it just made no sense because I kind of like Lisa reprimanded her for that. Lisa, the boss at Teen Vogue, in case we've all forgotten, because she's been invisible until now in this season. But she kind of reprimands her for going out, of course, and is like, you should never, like, they won't respect you and you shouldn't go out with like clients. And I was like, Lisa, this needs to be in a handbook that you give people before they actually do it, because I agree, like, you shouldn't go out with them and then be like, okay, now show up at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Like, anytime I've had like a late happy hour with a boss or like team event, it's like everybody knows tomorrow is like going to be kind of like a later morning or whatever. Like everybody respects that. So why are you going out and then being like, now be at this like casting or photo shoot at 9 a.m.?
Right. She's like, let's not take any more shots because we all have to be up early. And it's like, I agree. I mean, I think this does fall a little bit on Lisa, because Whitney does not seem to know what she's doing at all.
No, she's a glorified intern. I bet she has no idea still what an Asian inspired vase is called.
Do any of us, though?
I already forgot to. I couldn't tell you. Like, like $1 million question, I wouldn't know it.
I swear it starts with a CH.
No idea. But yeah, the jumpsuit apparatus guy or red jumpsuit apparatus guys are brats.
Oh my gosh. Again, though, what a throwback. And yeah, they're huge brats. Like I can't say I really listened to them or liked them when we were younger, but I really didn't like them after watching this. Like they were kind of turds and they're like, well, we're still going to go out.
Yeah, they thought they were so cool. And I only remember one of their names from the episode, and his name was Elias, and he was the lead brat. And he was confusing me so much when they were doing like their try on for the photo shoot, because he's like, these are girl pants, size 27, or whatever it was. And I was like, did they bring him girl pants and he's mad about it, or is he requesting girl pants?
I thought he was referring to the pants he was wearing.
Oh, because okay, that was such a trend. But when I was watching the episode, I like didn't recall that, and so I was like, did Whitney just bring girl pants to this shoot and be like, oh, sorry, I brought like the wrong sets of pants?
No, Morg, I feel like that was definitely the trend. Like that was, and especially like emo wise, I mean, it was like the skinnier jeans, the better. Although I would love to talk with someone who did that, which is like, again, totally cool. Like, but like why are women's skinny jeans better than men's skinny jeans? Or did they just not make men's skinny jeans at that time? Like why were there so many guys wearing women's skinny jeans?
I think they like hadn't, well, first, like emo trends set it off, but like only Hot Topic sold them. So I feel like it's like I feel like you had to, if you wanted to get it in like a normal blue jean color and not black, you had to go to like American Eagle and buy a girl's pants.
Interesting. Okay, so this was before skinny jeans had really made it into the boys' pants market.
Yeah, because I remember specifically my cousin would go buy the women's jeans.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely remember guys wearing women's jeans. I mean, good for y'all, though. I don't know that I would have had the guts in high school to go into the boys' clothing section and do my shopping.
That's true. Well, they just don't make pants with pockets that I can use, so here I am. In the men's section. Red jumpsuit apparatus night. I don't really think there was any love connection there, but I just put it in Elsie's dating life because she is, out and about. Love to see Elsie enjoying her social life. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like any of them are viable options.
No.
But the least viable option reappears, Jo. Jason.
Morg, I really didn't think we were ever going to see him again.
I did too. I was like, retired. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, and I will say, it sounded like, well, he was in rehab and good for him. He needed it. I mean, we all remember the New Year's party where he was running around like crazy Willy Wonka, screaming at Lauren Conrad, accusing her.
And the bathroom visits on his birthday.
You're so right.
Going to the bathroom like so many times. So good. We know.
Good for Jason for getting some help. He reaches out to Lauren. He wants to meet up with her, and they do meet up. And this is where Jason is really just dropping bombs on us.
Dropping so many bombs. Like, okay, first of all, he's out of the woodworks. He's arrived. He wants to go to dinner or lunch or whatever. And I guess I was just like, he seems like he's trying to date her again.
Morg, I had the same thought, and as I was watching it, I was so worried that Lauren, because it looks like Lauren's really like sucking back into Jason as well, where she's like really into him and he's super flirty with her, and I felt like he was totally trying to date her.
Yes, and he mentions nothing about the fact that he has a girlfriend till much later.
Yeah, till it's like they're basically on a date is what it feels like. They're like on a lunch date is what it looks like. And he's like, hey, I want you to meet my girlfriend.
Yeah, but before they even do that, they go to that romantic restaurant named Ketchup.
Okay, then maybe that's why I was like, it seems like they're on a date. That's what it was.
They were.
Who names a restaurant Ketchup?
Okay. Yes, we need to digress on this for a minute because ketchup is spelled like the condiment. Mm-hmm. And I would never think a restaurant is fancy if it's called Ketchup.
No, to me, it sounded like a competitor for McDonald's.
LA's competition for McDonald's.
Like, ketchup is real casual sounding, in my opinion.
Yes, it is. And it's like, I feel like, oh my God, I feel like this could be a great chain, Joe. Like ketchup, mustard, mayo. Like, it's just like a local chain, and they just name all their other restaurants like other condiments, pickles.
And do they all specialize in like that thing? Like, would ketchup all feature some sort of like ketchup sauce or like,
That's like
tomato
you go there.
variety?
No, they all only sell hamburgers and hot dogs, but then you just go there and that's the only condiment you can get on.
I love it, but I don't know how successful it would be. I would be so mad, Morgan, if I ended up at mustard and it's like we only have mustard.
See, that I would love mustard. See, I like mustard.
But only?
Yeah. Well, you're right. No, I would be sad. I'd be like, can I get some onions? And they'd be like, no, you got to go to onions for that.
Sorry. Well, that does sound like a fun challenge, though. Like, do the full combo challenge where it's like you get your burger somewhere and then you go and each place you go to and you got to get a condiment from them.
Yeah, it's a novelty. Like,
yeah,
that sounds like something LA would like.
Yeah, it sounds like a huge risk, but no risk, no reward.
Yes, as y'all know, me and Joe have many successful business ideas. So this is just another one of them.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Yeah. So, anyways, ketchup, terrible name for a fancy restaurant, but they go. And Jason doesn't reveal the entire time that he is dating someone on that night. And he instead takes her to get drinks, and I just thought that was really sketchy, and he's just out of rehab, so I don't know. I feel like she's really skeptical of him and seems very interested. And then who shows up to the same restaurant? Ketchup is all the rage. Heidi and Spencer. Again, my suspicion radar going off.
For sure. It definitely feels like that was like, hey, why don't you guys go to Ketchup this night too? Like, I mean, I wonder, like, I definitely feel like it had to be planned, but I wonder if it was something where it's like they didn't tell each other. Like the producers knew they were all going to be there, but they didn't tell each other couple that the other couple was going to be there.
I bet. Yeah, because they genuinely did seem surprised. So Jason has never met Spencer, and I forgot that their timelines never matched up. So Spencer's just so rude and comes over and is like, good to see you're doing better or something like that. Like, so rude about him getting out of rehab. And I'm like, Spencer, you need to go to anger management. So there's no class system here.
Yeah. Well, and I will say, I thought that Jason was like the real hero of this scene because he was, Spencer made such a rude comment. He's, like you said, never met this dude. And Jason was so like, why do you care? Like, why do you care so much? Like, he didn't really seem to care at all. Like, he seemed super unfazed by it, which I thought was great.
Well, I guess for a minute he seemed like really angry when they sent the drinks. So he was like, I'm going to go talk to them. And Lauren was like, no.
Oh, see, I don't even remember that.
But I mean, that was like the most rude thing. So Heidi and Spencer and I was like, why are y'all so fixated? Enjoy y'all's night. Y'all are at a separate table. Be quiet. And instead they're like, haha, let's send drinks to them because we know he just came out of rehab. And so we'll send a water for him and a drink of whatever Lauren's having. And then Heidi gets an amazing idea and stops the waitress and is like, no, a Shirley Temple for her. Like, she thinks she's brilliant.
Morg, this really annoyed me because it felt like a rude gesture. It felt like the way that they even did it, like they knew it was a rude gesture. But then, so these drinks arrive to Lauren and Jason and they turn them away. They're like, no, we don't want those. We're fine. Thank you. And then Heidi and Spencer are like so offended that they didn't accept their drinks. And it's like, why would they? I wouldn't accept your drinks either.
Yeah, they're literally like recounting it later, and they're like, we tried to send them some drinks and they rejected them. And I was like, say what really happened. You tried to send them really rude drinks.
Yes, I thought that was so manipulative because I think Heidi is talking to Elodie or someone, and that's how she spins it, and it's like that's felt really manipulative to be like, and we even tried to send them drinks, like we took the high road, and it's like, no, you sent her a Shirley Temple.
Yeah, and him a water. That's so rude.
I mean, well, what would you send him? A Coke?
I would say whatever he's been, like the waitress, I would be like, whatever they've been drinking. And then you have to like go over there and say like something nice, you know, like so that you like seal that you're actually being nice.
Yeah.
You know, hey guys, I don't want to ruin your night. I didn't know y'all were going to be here. I hope y'all enjoy the drinks. No.
Yeah.
Like other intentions with them.
That would have been nice, Morg, but this is why you were not on the hills.
I would never be cast.
You are too logical. You are too nice. You're squashing the beef. You would make a terrible...
The producers would be pissed.
You'd be horrible for drama.
Seriously. I'd just be like, hey guys, I have a brilliant business idea for this restaurant. How about you open a sister restaurant called Mayonnaise?
That's the reality show we need, is where we put our business ventures to the test.
Oh my God, yes.
Or we go to investors and we pitch them ideas.
Oh, I like that. And we just see like what investors are dumb enough to give us their money. Wait, somebody already did that. That lady in the sweatshirt.
What lady in the sweatshirt?
The one who sold the pharmaceuticals that were made up. The one, what was like the black turtleneck lady?
Oh, you're talking about, with the really low voice. What was her name? She talked like this. Elizabeth Holmes.
Yes.
And you're so right. Those investors were all really dumb. You're right. Okay, I'm sorry. When you said sweatshirt, she wore a turtleneck. Yes. She was really into Steve Jobs.
Okay, that's right. And her company was like Theranos or something like that, which all I can think of is like a Marvel movie character when I hear that name.
Oh, I was thinking it was like a Greek yogurt.
See, y'all, we have ideas for days.
But I like yours. That does sound like a really great Marvel character. Theranos, King.
It's so close to Thanos. That's the bad guy. Yeah. Or like a world, you know? And then we traveled to Theranos where Loki and Thor duked it out.
Okay, I like it.
I mean, I know you came here to listen to the Hills, but y'all really get it all. Yeah, so Jason, you know, all of this to say, at the beginning of this episode, we talked about how he drops bombs on Lauren. So, like, not the first night, though. First night they go to catch up, they get the rude drinks. That gets squashed. Like you said, Jason really is the bigger person. He is a little upset, but he doesn't go talk to them or engage. And eventually he also is like, Lauren, like, let it go.
Well, I was just going to say, maybe that's why I don't remember him being upset about the drinks, because by the end of their time at catch-up, Lauren was still really annoyed by Heidi and Spencer, and she wants to leave, and he's just like, let it go. Like, it's over. It's done.
Yeah. And I appreciated that.
I did too. It felt like Jason had grown a little. I even thought Morg, he looked a little less douchey too.
Yeah, his like hair is shorter.
His hair's shorter. He still does have a stud in his ear. I didn't remember that.
But that thought quickly passed for me, because then he goes to lunch with Lauren like a few days later. So I'm like, are they starting to kind of pick things back up? I'm just like, no, Lauren, don't do that. But then he's like, I really want you to meet my girlfriend.
Yeah. Which Lauren looked shocked too. I think Lauren looked hurt. Like, I felt like Lauren really did think that they were going to start dating again. And I feel like Jason kind of did lead her on. He didn't. He should have been upfront about that.
Yeah, it should have been like noted to her before they even met up at catch up.
Yeah, and they'd already talked on the phone. Like, they'd already had several encounters.
Yes. So it's just, I don't know. I think he was leading her on. And that quickly morphs, Joe. Like, this is where I'm like, I don't don't know if Jason's actually doing that well, because he tells her about the girlfriend. He's like, I really want you to meet her. She's amazing. She's so great. And Lauren even says, like, aren't you not supposed to be in a relationship when you're in rehab? Or like, you know, your program's still going. Now you're like in the next phase of it where you live at home. And he's like, anyways, I'm going to get engaged. And it's just like, whoa, Joe, 2 proposals in one season.
2 proposals in one season, but I will say I think this proposal was a little bit uglier than proposal for Heidi and Spencer, because this one, Lauren shows up to like a house party Jason invited her to, and it looks just like a full-blown kegger, and it's like this crowded apartment, and they're like, yeah, engagement, and it was like a high school college party.
Oh, it was so confusing because we don't actually even get to see the proposal if it was filmed. Instead, we just see 2 people we don't even know be like, hey guys, can I get everybody quiet down for a minute? 2 of our best friends. And I was like, who are you? And second of all, they're like, where did Katya even come from? Like, it's just like, they're like, 2 of our best friends, Jason and Kaya, are engaged tonight. And then they just like raise all of their red Solo cups.
And Lauren's face again, she just looks shocked and she's like grossed out. And again, I think this was editing, but it really felt like they were trying to make it look like Katya really didn't like Lauren.
Yeah, she's like, this is so stupid, but it doesn't even mean, I mean, like you said, it might be editing, because it's like she might not have even been referring to Lauren.
I'm sure she wasn't. I'm sure they're like, oh, well, let's do this. Let's create some drama at this party.
This kegger, it's just not doing it by itself, so we need to make up some drama.
Yeah, but I mean, really, the engagement felt like enough drama.
Yes, it was. And I mean, I already looked up, the engagement does not last, unfortunately.
I think we all saw that coming.
Because Jason is still not well.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is Lauren even comments on, like, before she knows about Katya, before she knows any of this stuff, when she's asking him, which would have been a great opportunity for him to tell her he had a girlfriend, when she's asking him about his living situation, like where he's going to live, and she's like, you shouldn't live with your friends because they all party or something like that, and he's like, or he makes a comment where he's like, none of my friends are not doing drugs or whatever, but it's like that's who he seemed like he was going to go back to hanging out with.
And that's exactly what we see at this apartment party.
Yeah, it felt like Jason had done a complete 180 back to the old Jason.
Kegger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Jason threw a lot of things at us these episodes, and I don't know, like Lauren's love life all over the place. But at least we know Jason's not a factor anymore.
I felt a sense of relief for Lauren, because I think had he been single, she would have gotten back into a relationship with him.
Yeah, I definitely was already feeling like that. She's like texting him, calling him lunch and dinner dates. I was like, oh no.
Yeah. And he was no good. Well, Morg, speaking of no good, I feel like where we left Audrina the last couple of episodes, she had been abandoned once more by Justin Bobby.
And now I'm thinking, you know, what is it? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah, but I think with Audrina, considering she'd already been abandoned. Oh, well, I guess that's what you were saying. So yeah, that's a fool me twice, shame on me moment, right?
Yeah.
To me, it feels like she's already been abandoned 10 times, but you're right. We've only seen or heard about these 2 moments.
Yeah, so he leaves her at the longest barbecue of the century that Brody threw last episodes on
3-day event.
Episode 4 of The Hills that we talked about last week. And now in these episodes, she's back with Justin Bobby. And the man says so little, Joe.
But so many words that mean so many few things.
Like, I don't know if he's apologizing. I don't know if he actually is sorry. I don't know.
Well, Morg, before we even get to that, I would really like to point out the fact that he doesn't even contact her after leaving her. We see her being like, so I finally called Justin Bobby.
I know.
It's like, you mean you had to chase this man down?
Yes, but yes, but we knew she was going to because she always goes back to the bad boys.
She loves him. I'm through with him, Lauren. I'm done. And then 30 seconds later, she's back.
She's back. And he does kind of apologize, I guess, in a very roundabout way.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure there was something that sounded like an apology in there. I mean, I just felt like he's someone that I think would be so hard to have a conversation with because he's like, I mean, let's just take it slow and let's be cool and anyone else just be gone. I was like, I don't know what this man is talking about because nothing here. It just like, is this you justifying your abandoning of her? Like, because you didn't want to go too quickly? Like, I didn't understand it.
Well, yeah, I was like, did he have any explanation within here? It's just really like, listen, sorry, I did leave. Take it or leave it, you know? Like,
and she takes it.
Much more to it. And she takes it. And I said, how bad does this guy not want to be her boyfriend?
Yeah, and I mean, how dumb is she that she's just like, yeah. You know, classic Audrina, her favorite word, yeah.
No content, just agreement.
Which really makes them a perfect couple.
But, I mean, she's back with him. She must continue to just always be on again, off again with him because JB can do whatever he wants and she'll always take him back.
Hence me saying they're the perfect couple.
I guess that's true. Perfect for Justin Bobby anyways.
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's great. Like, I'll just talk out of my butt and she'll be good.
And speaking of butts, we saw so many butts this episode.
Morg.
These episodes. Like 5 through 8 was most butt cracks award to the Hills.
I could not agree more. I mean, we've definitely commented on the low-rise jeans, the epidemic of low-rise jeans that took over the early 2000s, but we did not talk about the consequences of low-rise jeans, which is your butt crack is out a lot. So I will say, as annoying as it was to me to see all of the butt cracks, it was like I just wanted to slap a belt on these girls. I felt like it was very relatable. Like, how many times were my giant Hanes her ways poking out of my low rise pants?
I know, because I was thinking too, when we were prepping for this episode, we were discussing like how many, like, was underwear different in 2008, 2009 so that they fit a little lower? I don't remember, but I'm worried that my underwear was just always out.
I think mine was, but I also had a really long butt crack. Like I think we've mentioned before, like I feel like low rise jeans was really not my look.
No,
but I still went for it. So I think my underwear was just out a lot.
Well,
but you're right. But what do they make low rise underwear? They have to.
I guess so. I think it was.
Yeah, low rise bikini briefs or something.
Well, Jen Bunny and Audrina definitely were relating to that these episodes, but also just a really big call out to Gen Zers. Like, if you need a reminder on why not to bring this style back, watch episodes 5 through 8 of The Hills.
Yes, like live it up in those mom jeans or whatever it is that's currently in.
Because I'm like, we're watching these girls also like hiking up their jeans. Like, I don't miss that at all.
No. And that was also like a huge part of your jeans life. Like, I feel like I hardly ever do that now because my pants fit on my waist.
Yeah, they're up. I don't need to worry.
Right. Anytime you were preparing you had to prepare to sit down. Like anytime you were going to sit down, you prepared. Exactly. And it was like you grabbed your belt loops like Morg. I straight up. I one time, like, because I think I'd done it so much that I broke one of my belt loops.
Yeah.
Like it just popped right out of the jeans because it couldn't handle another shimmy up my body.
Another hoist. Hoist. Seriously. Yes. Like just like ripping the belt loop. I feel like I definitely did that as well, where you stand and you're just like hiking. And it's like when a woman wears like a tube top that doesn't fit and they're always like lifting it up. That's what it makes me think of.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like fashion should be functional. I really don't miss that. And you know, pants were so skinny back then too. Like I think that's another thing we've kind of gotten away from is really skin tight pants. Or at least I have. Maybe this is me personally because I do not enjoy being a sausage inside of a sausage casing.
Yeah.
But it was like a full leg hoist. Like it started at your feet and you just hoisted all the way up your body.
Yeah, it was a wiggle. Like every girl who was trying to be fashionable in the early 2000s knows what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, you know, try to keep on your flip-flops while you just hoisted up your pants.
But I mean, like besides Justin Bobby, that was like Audrina's main scenes. These episodes, it was her butt crack.
I mean, and her butt crack scene really took the cake between her and Jen Bunny's butt cracks. I think her butt crack won the Oscar because hers was driving off into the sunset
on Justin Bobby's bike after she took him back for apologizing in a very weird way.
I felt bad for anyone behind them on the highway.
Well, in our last 10 minutes, Jo, we have not yet touched on Speidi, and that's where we're going to end it today. I know most of our episodes are very full of Spencer and Heidi, and we've only really addressed that they sent the rude drinks, but Heidi also had some bad moments with her job these episodes. She essentially hears about a promotion from Elodie, her coworker, and goes to steal the promotion from her.
Yeah, I found this so annoying because it's like Elodie is like talking to her about this promotion and Heidi's like, yeah, that'd be great for you. You'd be so great with that. But then Heidi is like in the back of her mind scheming like, I want this promotion.
Yes. And like almost, I mean, of course, it's portrayed almost immediately goes to Brent and is essentially like, I've worked just as hard. I've done just as much. This girl's been there a whole year longer than her.
Yeah. And
right.
And Heidi hasn't. Yeah, you're right. She's been there a year longer. And Heidi just now started wearing professional clothing. I think in episode 5 of season 3, I saw her wear one blazer. So, I mean, she doesn't really, we've seen her play solitaire. Like, I mean, I don't know that I would say this girl works hard, but Brent's like.
The portrayal of her is like not good at work. So
this is it. So, I mean, it didn't feel real to start with. And then even when she's talking to Brent's like, okay, interesting idea. Hadn't considered it. And it was like, again, I didn't buy it. So, I mean, when I found out it was fake, like it wasn't real, like it was a planted storyline. I wasn't surprised.
No, yeah. So you researched about this and it looks like this entire piece of the storyline is fake, right?
Yeah, like apparently Heidi didn't even really work there. It looked like she worked there at like the clubs, like briefly, I think for less than a year, but then just for the show to kind of keep a storyline, she went into work and like fake worked there.
Yeah, because it definitely seems like seasons 1 and 2, she kind of admits she worked there about like 6 to 8 months. And by the time we're in season 3, it's like her year mark. And she was like, I only worked there while filming. So it's all staged.
Yeah. So
annoying.
Super annoying because then you really question, because then after that, she does get this promotion. And then her and Elodie have like these kind of interactions that just make you wonder, like, so did they tell them exactly what to say? Like, okay, Elodie's not a very good actress, but at the same time, like if I didn't research that this was fake, like would I have questioned it? So maybe she is a good actor, which calls into question the whole difficulty of acting.
Whoa, we're getting really wide with our skeptics.
I mean,
is it even that hard?
I don't want to offend any actors because I do think it's got to be really hard, but I'm just saying, like, they just were buying into this fake promotion where they probably just told Elodie to be like, okay, now go be mad at Heidi, but like make her think that you're not mad. Like, what? She kind of did pull that off where she's like, no, it's fine. It's fine. But maybe she was just feeling really uncomfortable about the whole thing.
Yeah, like but I feel like she was like kind of being like passive aggressive, like
So Morg, either that or Elodie's an actress.
Give her the Oscar, not Audrina's butt crack.
Ooh, I don't know. I think Audrina's butt crack's still gonna get it.
But Pratt Dog, our lovely Spencer Pratt, he is beyond supportive of Heidi getting this promotion.
I love that you use the word beyond because I feel like that is such a Spencer word. It's like
beyond.
But I mean, like, that's his real go-to for when I would probably use so, like, you're like, oh, you're doing so good. Like, you're so qualified. He's like, you're beyond. You beyond deserve this or whatever. But I mean, I feel like he's used it before. He really loves this word.
Yeah, I feel like he also used it with LC, like, you beyond betrayed me.
So beyond is a good one. I think I need to be using this more.
Yeah, beyond. I like it. And I feel like it just adds the like flair of LA douchiness that we all need in our lives.
Yeah, so you got to say it with a smile on your face.
And like with like a little SoCal accent. Like, I beyond wanted this. Okay.
Exactly, right? Like, you beyond. I don't even know. You beyond looks so good in those dog tags.
Or you just look beyond. I don't know.
You're so beyond. How is that never like a slang phrase?
Well, we can make it one right now.
Done. You're beyond.
I mean, like, one of our businesses can use it as a slogan. It'll take off.
Beyond.
Ketchup.
I feel like that's the slogan for our condiments, beyond condiments or something.
Because you're really here for the burger and the hot dog. But the other thing that I wanted to touch on as we end our episode is this wedding, Joe. Like, Speidi, apparently they're engaged. They kind of told Heidi's parents while they were in Colorado, who were sorely disappointed. And I just keep questioning if the wedding is even real at this point. Because I know we all know they get married, but right now, Spencer's parents don't even know. Like, I don't understand where this wedding is at.
Well, Morg, it doesn't appear to be going very far, but we do see that Heidi, you're right, like, no plans. It's super weird that Spencer's parents don't know. I don't even think they've met Heidi, have they? And
not that we've seen.
And like, there's been no plans or talk of plans, but then Heidi does go out wedding shopping with Jen Bunny, or excuse me, maybe they're just like browsing.
Well, okay, browsing. I have never once in my life browsed for a wedding dress.
I know, when I said that, I was like, is there a better word for like
like, you go to a wedding shop and you're like, we're just looking.
What do you call that? That's what it felt like they were doing.
I guess so. I mean, maybe some girls do. I don't know. But it to me, it feels very much so fake. Like, I'm back on the promise ring train. It's just a promise.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it was just to get Heidi to really commit to leaving Lauren behind or something.
Well, yeah. Oh my God, if it's all about Lauren, how scary is that?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's kind of true. That's really kind of freaky to think about, that if he's jumping through all these hoops, like getting Heidi to move in with him, getting engaged to her just so he doesn't have to have Lauren in his life, like, that's
a madman.
That's next level.
But I believe it.
Beyond
next level. But Joe, I guess, like, how mad would you be if you thought you were engaged to someone and they were like, yeah, my parents don't know about you?
That would definitely be a huge red flag for me, but many things before would have been a huge red flag.
True. I mean, my head would immediately be like, you're leaving double lives. But we already knew that with his, what was it? His homeboy phone. And he still has two phones. I saw them in a scene where Heidi gets annoyed at Spencer and is like, hey, I want you to help me with some housework. And he's like, mentally, I'm helping you with housework.
Wait, and he had both phones out in front of Heidi?
Yeah, I'm sure he lies about the homeboy phone and says it's for work.
This is my work phone. I'm working as a homeboy.
I have no idea what Spencer Pratt does for work at this time.
I don't think he does anything, but yes, worth a little research. I'm going to have to look into that. But yeah, Morg, when he said he mentally was helping, I didn't know what to do with that because part of me was like, I'm going to use that. But then part of me was like, that's really not even a good excuse for not helping.
No, mentally helping? How mad would you be if you asked somebody to do some work at your job and then they're like, I'm mentally doing it?
I'm mentally doing it. Like in my mind, I'm folding that piece of laundry. I don't know.
Yeah, there's no words for Spencer's responses, really.
No, and he's like smiling when he says it. Ugh, he's always smiling.
But that's why
I'm mentally helping.
That's why he was cast on the hills and I wasn't.
That's really what we've determined by the end of these episodes. Yeah, so I feel like that's really what we've learned here is that Morg and I could never be on a reality TV show. We don't have the Spencer crazies.
We'd wondered up until this point, but now we're sure that we wouldn't make it.
It was questionable, and I think we were never willing to show our butts cracks so much, so wouldn't have worked out. But yeah, so 4 more episodes down. Okay, so next week we're going to kick it up a notch, y'all. We're going to do 9 through 13. So make sure that you have those watched and check back with us on Friday, and we'll have more stuff to discuss with you. We really didn't have a chance to talk about the reintroduction of Jen Bunny. Hello. So
hello from her butt, though. So you did get that.
We definitely got a hello from her butt, and I didn't want that hello. But remember to follow us on our social medias at Double Loser Podcast. Give us a like and subscribe, and we'll see y'all next week. Have an excellent weekend.